Hello, Blue Justin here. Still Justin, still not blue, still not quite caught up on these haul videos, though this I think should bring me almost up to date, and still not escaping the Santa Claus look. Anyway, on to my next haul video, which is this one, and this is the second haul video for April, and let's get on with it. Again, I've going to try and stick with some sort of general order, starting off with the 4Ks that I've got on the Steelbooks, then on to any new releases, special editions, limited editions, my German imports or foreign imports, and where those are updates to DVDs to Blu-ray, then my general new arrivals with the updates to DVDs and Blu-rays at the end, and on to my TV stuff, continuing series, and a couple of updates are included in that this week as well. Right, so starting at the beginning, starting with 4Ks and Steelbooks, like I said, this is a 4K Steelbook. This is the live action, and I use the word inaccurately, of the Lion King, the recent remake, using CGI. Can't really be called live action because the original was fully animated, and since it had no human characters in it, this essentially is an animation of an animation. So I'm not quite sure of the point, and I don't think a lot of people were very particularly sure of the point, but I haven't seen it. So after watching the original Lion King for the first time only recently, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to see how this compares. This is an interesting one, very, very different than the Lion King. This is the Mary Millington collection, the very famous 1980s adult film star. This is a limited edition set that have relatively recently been released, and now I think is sold out in most places. It includes an awful lot of her movies and works, and also retrospectives and documentaries. Some of the ones that are split out onto two separate discs with full restorations for this set are actually included in a much rougher form on the DVDs as extras, if I recall correctly. The most famous film in the set, I should think, is Come Play With Me, which, as I was just checking today, in actual fact is not only her most famous movie, it actually holds the Guinness World Record for the longest running movie at the cinema, not just sex movie or anything like that. 201 weeks continuous. The documentary will continue on about her life, obviously, and her tragic death through suicide only a couple of years after making that movie, through pressures from the police and worries about her own looks. The extras in here are extensive, because as well as the documentaries, there are additional commentaries. There are shorts, the 8mm shorts that she made, obviously with the hardcore material removed. In fact, the most famous movies in this country have never been released with the hardcore scenes that were shot. They were only shot for abroad, and it's believed that all that material, especially for example, Come Play With Me 2 and Playbirds, has been destroyed and doesn't exist anymore anyway, so it's been lost if not destroyed. There are some scenes apparently in Come Play With Me about that, that were shot for real, in the sense that the people on screen are actually having sex, but they were edited for release by the the original company to make sure it was softcore. So even though they were actually having sex on set, it was never released in any form to actually show that. But I'm probably going to do an unboxing of this one, especially if anybody comments down below to say that they'd like to see it. Obviously, I'll make sure that the thumbnail isn't in any way salacious, and very careful note of what the covers show or what's inside I believe there's a booklet in there, 80-page booklet actually, so pretty substantial there. Interesting, one of the features is the striptease extravaganza, and that's got it. When you think about the fact that this has got a name like Bernie Winters, stalwart comedian of the era, actually appearing in the film, you just consider how big a star that she must have been, and the filmmakers must have been at that time. So I just think it's even if you're not particularly interested in the watching the films to that extent, I think it's a very interesting and important part of British filmmaking history, and I'm interested in actually seeing exactly how good the restorations and such have gone on. And that's all I'm saying before anybody starts making any further comments. Anyway, on with a couple of other special type editions. This is the Royal Tenenbaums, it's a Criterion collection release, and I haven't seen it before, and so I thought I'd pick up this one and the next one in the recent 2 Criterions for reduced amount. I think it was at HMV. Yeah, this is the other Criterion, 310 to Yuma, the original. Very interested in watching this because I like 310 to Yuma, the remake, and I really want to see where they differ. So I'll be watching this one, and then I'll be rewatching the remake with Russell Crowe, and seeing what the differences are, where the similarities lie, and which I prefer, because I haven't seen the remake for quite a while, so I'll have to watch them a bit closer together to do a proper comparison. On to the German releases. I think all of these I've had before on DVD, so they're all upgrades, so I'm not going to show any new German releases this particular week. Bloodrayne, she's a half human, half vampire, similar to Blade. Kills off the bad vampires, similar to Blade, done first. This is unfortunately a Uwe Boll film, very, very famous director for must be miraculously good at getting money, because his films get religiously slated as being appalling. Personally, I have the DVD of this and quite liked it, because apart from Christina Loken, who, as I said on a recent my video for last haul, she appeared in one of those films that I picked up, who appeared in Terminator 3. She is added here just with Michael Madsen, Michelle Rodriguez, and even Ben Kingsley. So it has got a good cast, and I believe, if I recall correctly, Meatloaf is in there as well. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to a rewatch on that upgrade. It's got a couple of special features with deleted scenes and whatnot. That's the Bloodrayne 2. I think the first, again, I've searched out going through the German ones mostly because if you choose the right options, you can get them uncut. And I believe this is the uncut one, that's why I chose it. You have to be careful because sometimes they say special edition, and that doesn't necessarily imply uncut at all. But I think this one is Bloodrayne 2 Deliverance. If I recall correctly, again, this is they've changed the actress who plays Bloodrayne, and this one is set in the Wild West. Bloodrayne 3, the Third Reich. The DVD of this is called Bloodrayne 3, the Blood Reich, if I recall correctly. I should, because I've got it on DVD. You've got an audio commentary and a making of and some interviews. This one obviously looks like, and from the name, is set during World War II and the Third Reich period, and with Bloodrayne taking on those bad guys, which fits in with the usual thing of the Third Reich and Hitler especially being very tied up in the occult, so that works. Unfortunately, for this next couple, I wasn't able to find yet at a reasonable price the first one in the series so I can update it from the DVD, but I have been able to find Adios Sabata, which is the second one following on from Sabata, which starred Lee Van Cleef. He was replaced in the lead role as Sabata by Yul Brynner in this one, and therein lies an interesting tale. Well, it's interesting to me, so I'm going to tell you about it now. Lee Van Cleef would have been chosen to reprise his role, but he wasn't available because he was doing another film at the time. And the film he was doing was Magnificent Seven Ride. And he was playing the part of Chris, which is the part that Yul Brynner played in the original Magnificent Seven. So essentially, you had Yul Brynner in Magnificent Seven playing Chris. When they did a follow-up to it, the Magnificent Seven Ride, they hired Lee Van Cleef to replace him in the role, and because Lee Van Cleef wasn't available for Adios Sabata, they hired Yul Brynner, who wasn't doing anything at the time then. So, yes, nice little tricky line there. Lee Van Cleef returns for that translates as The Return of Sabata, which is the third one. I didn't realise actually myself until recently it came after Adios Sabata. It doesn't seem to make sense. You'd have thought it would be Sabata, Return of Sabata, Adios Sabata, but it isn't. It's Sabata, Adios Sabata, Return of Sabata. Anyway, I think we're pretty sure where those are all going to be coming from. A little bit different here. This is just a new arrival. This is called Lebanon, a soldier's journey, set during the Arab-Israeli conflict. A lone tank and a platoon of Israeli soldiers trying to get through. It should be a quick and easy job, but it all goes horribly wrong. Well, otherwise you wouldn't make a film about it, really, would you? There's a commentary, there's a Views from the Front Line, theatrical trailers, the background to the first Lebanon War, in which is obviously the war it's set within. It's down as containing strong language and violence. Well, you'd expect the violence, but for those of you expecting or worried about the strong language being overheard in the background, on the principle that the only soundtrack on here is, I think it's Hebrew, or it's the original language. It's certainly not English, but it has got English subtitles. I don't think anybody's going to be hearing this really, really bad language on the next film. It's on the next room. A lot of it's apparently very, very claustrophobic, shot from within the vehicle, looking out through the hatches, and very powerful and well directed. So I'm really looking forward to that. I enjoy my war movies, and I'm quite well aware of that conflict. Of course, talking of wars, this one's going back quite a lot, much long way. This is the series The White Queen. This is a series about 3 women vying for power during the War of the Roses, which is, even going back so far as that it's actually just at the end of the Middle Ages. Despite this is I think it's BBC, yes, BBC and Stars, STARZ series that for some reason has dropped in price dramatically, and I'm interested in giving it a first time watch. The only downside of mine is that it came with a nasty hard to make out a bash out of the corner there of the case, but I don't think any real damage was done, and I let Amazon, other companies are available, know about it, and they refunded me the whole price and said keep it if you want to. So I'm keeping it if I want to, because I want to. Dolan's Cadillac, movie about revenge after someone's wife threatens to give evidence in a case against a crime boss played by Christian Slater, who then kills her. That's on the back, that's not a spoiler. At which point the husband goes on in an intense vengeance spree. It's based on an original story by Stephen King, if that's interesting to anybody. And next, we're on to a couple of things that I've updated from DVDs, all those I haven't seen before. This is the double pack of the Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. Actually, when I was reading the comics back in my youth, I much preferred the Fantastic Four to the Avengers, but obviously the Avengers movies in the MCU have been significantly better, shall we say, than any of the Fantastic Four movies that they've tried to make. I just hope at some point they'll go back and make a Fantastic Four movie in the style of the MCU and getting it right, to be honest. I just remember the way the Fantastic Four interacted with Spider-Man in the comics that I was reading when I was younger. Was brilliant, and I just wish that they did the same again on the movies. As I said, these aren't the greatest movies, but I did want them upgraded from my DVDs and clear off space on the shelf, and also get a higher quality picture. Even if they're not the greatest thing, they aren't that bad. I still enjoy watching the excitement. "16 Blocks," another update from a DVD which I've watched and very much enjoyed the storyline. 16 blocks is the distance the petty criminal has to be escorted by a barely recognisable Bruce Willis. There he is. As you can see, he is a bit hard to spot. And That's what fooled me for a moment. I thought he was a different actor until I read it on the back, and then I got confused. It's got nice little extras in the sense it's got deleted scenes, which is always nice. I think anyway, optional director, screenwriter commentary. It's a Richard Donner film, the guy who did Lethal Weapon, which is always a good start. And it's interesting, as you can see there from the front, that one of the deleted scenes is an alternate ending, which I suspect is a lot less Hollywood than the one they will actually give it in the main film. Not that I can actually remember the ending, I just remember the film being pretty good. I just remember this film being very, very good and very enjoyable. This is Inner Space, sort of updating of the 60s version of people being miniaturized and injected into the bloodstream of other people, and in this particular case it turns the hypochondriac Martin Short into an all-action hero when he's injected with Dennis Quaid in his little submarine. The special effects are obviously an improvement over the 60s ones, but those are very quaint. But it's very funny. It's got some good action, and it's got Meg Ryan again. If you see my recent couple of videos, she's appeared in quite a few. And now we're on to a bit of TV. The next in line of the ones I didn't have in this series is this season of, which is season 5 of Supergirl. Waiting to get time to watch this all the way through, the whole series. And also want to bring myself up to date because I've only watched the first 1 or 2 on DVD, but very much enjoyed them, is Misfits. These are the Blu-rays replacing a couple of DVDs that I have. It's a bit of a shame that not going to take up much less space on the shelf, since they just put them all into, put each season, rather than repackaging them, they just put them into a big slip cover, which is a shame as far as I'm concerned. Kermit's Case would love it. You could take them out and have each in a separate case. I'd be very happy. Personally, I just need the space on the shelf. They've got a reasonable number of extras, and if you didn't know, it's about a group of people on community service when a same sort of storm hits that it did in The Flash, and starts handing out superpowers to people who get caught out in the storm willy-nilly. And each of the people in this community service crew get some different superpower, except one. Well, they don't think he does, but keep an eye out. It's quite interesting, and also deals with the more dramatic side of things rather than just the superhero type side, in that these people are petty criminals. That's the reason why they're on community service. For those who aren't in the UK, that's the sort of that's the phrase we use for where you don't send people to prison after a petty crime. You make them serve the community for so many weeks, but you don't have police looking over them over their shoulders all the time, so they're not in a chain gang or anything like that. They're just told to go and clean the streets or clean up graffiti or whatever, and they occasionally an inspector comes along and says that graffiti isn't cleaned up, as far as I understand it. I've never had it happen to me, thank goodness. And in this particular case, as I was saying, I quite like the dramatic aspects, in that these people start off as minor criminals. So how do they cope with being minor criminals gaining superpowers? Do they start using those superpowers for good, for themselves? What are their struggles internally? about what they should do or not do, and what happens when they find out that other people have also been affected by the storm and they turn out to be using their powers for much, much worse than the group who our main protagonists are. Do they go and do something about it or what? Anyway, that's my weekly haul update for this week, and I shall be back. I think I should be up to date with the next one because I shall be starting or finishing the last week, and that finishes yesterday, so I know everything that's arrived. It's just a matter of filming it, putting it up, editing it, putting it up. So I should be up to date, and I shall start again on next week's. Actually, that starts today, so I do Sunday to Saturday. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep an eye, especially if you want to see an unboxing of the Mary Millington film collection, and please make a comment down below if you do. That'll give me an extra impetus and to be able to make a decision. I hope you, like I said, I hope you really enjoyed it. I shall be back soon with more haul videos, the update to my unboxing for the Mummy, which I think I showed you last time. That's the Everything Blue Day of the Living Mummy trilogy set, Steelbooks. Just showing the insides this time, which went wrong last time. Also want to do a couple of other videos that I've got planned, potentially that unboxing. Also, I have just seen that there's one going around with people showing their film and TV related, and sometimes also humour related t-shirts. I think I'd love to do that, but I'd definitely have to break it down. As you can tell, or if you've followed anything of the posts I put up on Big Paulie's site over the years, I got up to 300 300 t-shirts in a row for film and TV related topics, and I found some more and actually got some more since then, so that could be a very, very long video if I did it all in one. Anyway, thanks very much indeed for watching, and please keep on enjoying the movies that you're watching, the TV that you're watching, the YouTube videos that you're watching, and please like and subscribe if you did like, and spread it around, share it, feel free. Thank you very much indeed, and cheers.